So, when you hear Math Olympiad, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Probably some intense competition, crazy hard formulas, and maybe, yeah, a little bit of stress. Well, today we're going to dig into what these competitions are actually all about. And trust me, the answer is probably not what you think.
All right, let's just jump right in. And to do that, let's try to see it through the eyes of the youngest competitors. Imagine you're 6, maybe 7 years old, and you're sitting down for your very first Math Olympiad. What do you think the questions even look like?
Well, you might open the paper and see something like this. This is a real problem from a sample paper for first graders. It's not really about adding or subtracting, it's a puzzle. An insect needs to find its way through a maze shaped like an apple. It's kind of cool looking, but also a little complicated, wouldn't you say?
Or you could get hit with this, a totally abstract 3D figure, and the question is probably something about counting the blocks or figuring out its structure. For a little kid, this looks pretty wild. It's definitely not your standard 2 plus 2 equals 4 kind of math.
And, as if the problems themselves weren't enough, then you've got the official syllabus. Just look at this wall of text. It's got geometry, spatial awareness, numbers, measurement, time, data. The list just goes on and on. Looking at all this, it's super easy to think that the only way to win is to just memorize everything. And all of this, it feeds into what you could call the Olympiad myth. The idea that these things are just a pure test of your raw math skills and how much you can cram into your brain. That you've either got the math gene or you don't.
But hold on. What if that's completely the wrong way to think about it? What if the numbers and the shapes and all these puzzles, what if they're just tools to teach something way, way deeper? Something that's useful for, well, everything.
So let's try to flip this on its head. We're going to peel back the layers of these competitions and see what skills are actually being built when a kid is staring down one of these tricky problems.
So here's a new definition for you, based on some great insights from the Talent Scholar. Think of Math Olympiads as training grounds for life skills. The math is just the medium, but the real lesson is about how to solve problems, how to be patient, how to get creative, and most importantly, how to build confidence.
Let's start with a really big one, creativity. See, Olympiad problems are not like your typical homework. You can't just find the right formula in your textbook and plug in the numbers. They actually force you to think differently. Okay, take a look at this absolute classic. An ant is on one corner of a cube, and it needs to get to the corner that's diagonally opposite. What's the shortest way it can crawl there along the surface? Now, your first gut instinct is probably to start measuring the edges, right? But the truly brilliant solution requires this. Leap of imagination. What if you just unfolded the cube and laid it flat? All of a sudden, the problem completely changes. The shortest path between 2 points on a flat surface is just a straight line. The answer wasn't about calculation at all. It was about reframing the entire problem. That's a creative jump. And that right there perfectly shows the difference between memorizing stuff and actually mastering it. See, anyone can collect a bag of tricks or a long list of formulas, but real mastery, that's about understanding the core ideas so deeply that you can build your own solutions, even for problems you've never, ever seen before. The Talent Scholar has the perfect analogy for this. It's like having all the strongest Pokemon cards. Awesome, right? But if you don't understand the strategy, if you don't know when to play which card or why, you're still going to lose the game. And that's exactly what these Olympiads are trying to teach.
But it's not all just about those aha moments of creativity. These competitions build a whole other set of skills, the emotional side of solving problems. This is where things like grit, grace, and handling pressure come in. I love this quote from a competitor named Ria. So often we're taught, never give up, push through. But Olympiads teach a much smarter lesson. Sometimes the best thing you can do is to walk away, take a breath, and come back to it later with fresh eyes. That's not quitting, that's strategy. And get this, you're learning all of this with a clock ticking down. Those time limits aren't there just to be mean, they're a training tool. They teach you how to think clearly when you're stressed. You learn how to manage your time, how to stay calm when you get stuck, and how to make smart choices under pressure. How valuable is that for life? So here's the real takeaway. We need to stop thinking of Math Olympiads as just contests. They're more like laboratories for life skills. The math problems, they're just the experiments.
And believe it or not, the list of benefits just keeps going. Kids who do this become self-reliant learners. They figure out how to find their own answers. They learn to explain their complicated ideas clearly. And for a lot of them, it sparks this genuine love of learning that sticks with them forever.
So, if we had to boil it all down, what are the core skills that get forged in this Olympiad lab? Number 1, resilience when things get hard. 2, real confidence to face any problem. 3, the ability to think for yourself. And 4, that creative spark to find solutions no one else sees.
And that's really the ultimate point here. The goal isn't just to find the next great mathematician. It's to help create strong, adaptable learners and future leaders, no matter what they decide to do with their lives. So it turns out the numbers are really just the beginning. The real prize isn't a gold medal. It's a whole new way of thinking, which kind of leaves us with a question for ourselves, right? What challenge in your own life could you solve by thinking like an Olympiad?